So good afternoon and welcome back to the Mind School channel. Hope you're all doing fantastic. And today we're going to take a look at why it can be so hard to go after your dreams. You know, the goals that deep down you know you really want to go after, you really want to accomplish. Why can it be often so hard to actualise them? So that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. So once again, I'm joined in the discussion by the lovely Sarah Carter from down south. Sarah, how are you doing this fantastic afternoon? It's roasting up here in Scotland. Why do we always talk about the weather?
I don't know, it's just a terribly British thing to do, isn't it? But bed into a conversation a little bit about the weather and no one actually really cares. But, you know, for anyone who does care, it's very hot and sunny, yeah.
No one cares. It's one of these kind of like commonalities, I guess, that we like to talk about. So anyway, let's get started. So once again, if you're new to this channel, if you could consider subscribing, that would be absolutely fantastic. It really helps us share content like this. Also, if you could ring the bell, that way you'll be notified each time we upload a video here at Mind School. So going after your dreams, this is a very common theme, especially when we're younger. You know, we're told to go after the things that we want, follow your passions, follow your bliss, see if you can actualise your dreams, but it's often a lot easier said than done. So what are your thoughts on this? Why do you think that going after your dreams and your really important goals can often be so difficult, Sarah?
I'm wondering if it's about the word dreams, because there's an instant distinction, isn't there? A dream is meant to be something that doesn't actually happen. So just a linguistic thing there. But why do people find it hard to go after their dreams? Oh my goodness, it's a huge subject, isn't it? I think it's because there's this inherent belief that that's not realistic, that's not real life, that's not what you do as an adult. Dreams are what you have when you're younger, and when you're an adult you fulfill your duties and your responsibilities. So I think there's a whole mixture of things that go on there. How would you actually define like dreams? When you say going after your dreams, what do you specifically mean by that?
I feel like I'm in a coaching session here all of a sudden. That was a very good, a razor sharp question. I like that. Now, I think you made a good point there as well, just before I answer your question, that there's a really good quote, a dream without a plan is a wish, which I thought was quite a nice little distinction. But even the word dream, to be honest, kind of presupposes that it's somewhere in the ether that you're maybe never going to accomplish. So how would I define dreams? I think it's about really figuring out or finding out what your passions are, finding out the things in life that really matter the most to you, that are going to give you the greatest amount of pleasure, joy, and of course satisfaction, allow you to live a really nice lifestyle. It's about really going after those important things. I think for me, before I kind of bat it back over to you, is I totally agree with you. I think first and foremost, a lot of people don't even really know what their dreams are. You know, when the dreams are for kids, as you mentioned, when they were younger, you know, they did dream. They were very connected with the things that gave them the most joy and pleasure and satisfaction. But then as they get older, all of a sudden, you know, you become an adult and you have responsibilities. You have to look after the kids, or you have to get a job and you have to get an income. And of course, we have to have all these things. We don't have to have kids if you don't want to, but, you know, we have to look after them if we have kids, though. But, you know, we do have responsibilities. But I don't think those things should be mutually exclusive. You know, you can have responsibilities while at the same time still having dreams and aspirations and things you want to accomplish. So that would be my definition of going after the dreams. I don't know if that helps you answer the question in any way.
Yeah, no, it does, definitely. Linked with passion and creativity. And they often say, don't they, that if you get to a point in adulthood where you don't know what it is you want, you don't know what your dreams are, they say to always look back to your childhood because the clues will all be there. For me, it's all about creative expression. I think people thrive when there is an expression of creativity on some level. And to me, that's what fulfilling a dream is. And I think with the rise of everyone generally just being a bit more visible with how we work these days, being online, and the fast pace of technology, I think there's this underlying pressure that to have a dream has to be something massive. And so, you know, I think people are like getting stressed about creating a dream because it has to be some huge statement that everyone knows about, and you're rocking the world and changing things and being some massive revolutionist. And it's like, no, a dream could just be you like you say, it cohabits, doesn't it? So you've got your job and you enjoy that and you give to it, and you're fulfilling your responsibilities, but you do that art class on a Tuesday, and that's where do you see what I mean? I think dream can just sound so big, and it creates a pressure that doesn't need to be there. But for me, a dream, living your dreams, is aligned to your passions and your values, and meaning, living a life of meaning.
I totally agree. I think really what you're touching on there is peer pressure or social pressure. I think, and that can come in many different forms. Social pressure to live a certain way or live a certain life or go after certain goals can come from your parents, it can come from your friends, it can come from social media. I was wondering when you were going to go on a tirade about social media. You usually manage to get one of those in each video, so you managed it in 4 minutes 20 there. That's a record, I think. But yeah, so I think it can be so easy to succumb to that social pressure. And I think one of the social pressures is that you have to accomplish something massive. If it's not a huge, colossal, gargantuan dream, then it doesn't count. But actually, the really small and simple things in life can often be just as meaningful, if not more, because we often get to do them, more often. So I agree. I think it is very much about creative expression, and I think it's really, really important that we spend some time exploring what our actual dreams are. I know that sounds like a weird thing to say, but we do it from the inside out. There's a famous story about a basketball player called Wilt Chamberlain, and I think he played basketball in the 1960s, and he basically had the highest free throw shot ratio, that's not easy to say, in the history of basketball. So it was like off the scale, like better than someone like Michael Jordan. And the reason why he had such a good record was because he had a very distinctive throwing style. He would actually used to throw underarm. So rather than doing the kind of, I'm not going to demonstrate, it just looks silly, but rather than doing the traditional form where you throw it kind of overarm, he would do underarm. And this is often referred in basketball as a granny shot, because apparently it's what your grannies do. My granny never used to play basketball. Maybe yours did. But what happened was, so he had this throw, and it was incredible, the ratio that he had. But then during one closed season, he succumbed to peer pressure. Everybody was saying, all the coaches, all the commentators, all the critics were all saying, why is he throwing in this silly way? The amateurs don't even do this. It should be throwing in the conventional way. So during closed season, he decided to change his technique to the traditional, conventional, over-the-top throw. And I don't know if you can guess what happened. His scores started to plummet. And for me, I really like this metaphor, because I think it conveys this idea that often we can really succumb to peer pressure rather than connecting with the things that deeply resonate with us, that are a good fit for us, and then just going with that and then seeing what happens. And that might not be something colossal, it might not be something gargantuan, but as long as it's meaningful to you, then that goal will actually lead to fulfillment and not just a kind of empty sense of success. I don't know if that makes any sense to you, Sarah.
Yeah, it does. And it also sort of demonstrates that actually living your dreams is quite a unique path, isn't it? Like, we have different ways of being able to do things, and actually then when it's put under the microscope and analysed, and I guess this guy that you're talking about was just in flow doing his thing, throwing it anyway and getting the result, but then everyone was picking apart the journey to get to the result. And so dreams are like a really unique thing, aren't they?
Yeah, I think as well, another thing, and we've spoken about this before, is the importance of consistency. I think this is one of the key things. I mean, like, being consistent is really, really important. It's probably more important than being inspired in the beginning. If you want to go out there and you want to accomplish something that is important to you, you have to actually do it consistently. And sometimes consistency can be a little bit boring. I know that you do a lot of writing now, Sarah. You're on Medium. If you want a perfect opportunity for a plug there. If you want to check out Sarah on Medium, you can Google search her name, Sarah Carter. But in order to produce something that's good, that is does fulfil your values and your passions, you kind of have to do it consistently. And sometimes doing things consistently can be a wee bit of a grind. So I think getting your head round that fact is sometimes a little bit difficult, a little bit challenging. I notice what a lot of people do is they'll go after a goal, they'll go after a dream, and in the beginning they're hugely passionate, they're hugely excited, they're really, really inspired by it. But then they reach a dip, and this is an inevitable dip. They start getting used to the work that they have to do to turn it into a reality. And that's when they really struggle, because they maybe don't feel as good about it as what they did in the beginning. But that's perfectly natural. You've just got to get over that dip and it starts to get good again. So I think, consistency, determination, resilience, just that doggedness to keep going. Like I said, you're doing a lot of writing just now. Have you found that's really important, that consistency? Have you found it challenging as well? Is that something that you're still working on?
Yeah, so I think really when you're doing something that you love, it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't mean you don't hit those dips and you don't hit those days where, I don't know, life's going on and you can't be bothered, or I don't know what it is. But when it's a commitment to yourself, it does feel entirely different. And that's probably another thing that this word dream does, doesn't it? Dreams seem to equate to success, and then it's what your definition of success is. And for me, it's just like if I stick to why I'm doing it, that's enough fuel for the fire, really. And I think what you were saying about anyone can have a one-hit wonder success. There is a lots of talk about this happening on the Medium platform, about people writing just like a one-off article, happen to strike it lucky, it goes viral or whatever. Happens on YouTube all the time, doesn't it? And then boom. But things like discipline and consistency are not really talked about, not really rewarded, actually, even in the workplace. Everything's just about quick fixes and quick hits. So I've just got my head down. That's the word I was looking, the phrase I was looking for. I'm just kind of, I know why I'm doing it. I know what it's fulfilling for me, and I'm sort of just sticking to that. And I don't think I need to make claim about that to anyone. And if I help people along the way, or connect, or things happen, then it kind of does. Bit esoteric, I suppose, because if your dreams are really connected to making a lot of money, for instance, it depends what your goals are, doesn't it, really? But yeah, you can't ever escape hard work. And I don't think there's much of a sense of achievement in anything that doesn't require some level of hard work and pushing yourself out your comfort zone. And if everything's just easy to obtain, where is the real satisfaction in that?
I agree. Totally.
I'm asking.
Yeah. It's it's a very kind of philosophical and rhetorical question there. I really like that one. So I think it's true though. I think it's things that do involve work, we tend to value them more as human beings. We don't tend to value things that we get easy, so we discard them. So I think, absolutely. I think hard work, discipline, determination and consistency are really underrated qualities when it comes to going after your dreams. I think a lot of people think it's going to be all plain sailing and you're going to basically live a life of bliss for the rest of your life. I noticed this, I run a business, of course, I'm involved in entrepreneurship. I don't know if I would class myself as an entrepreneur, but a lot of people come up to me and say, it must be amazing. You have all this freedom to do what you like and you're living your dream and living your passion. And they are right. It is really, really good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not dissing it, but it's also hard work. It's maybe not the utopia that they think it is, but it's still good. I still prefer it to being employed, I have to say. But it does involve those other qualities that maybe people don't realise that it does actually involve. I think you touched on something really important there as well earlier on, is you mentioned that you know why you're doing it. When you're doing something you love, you know why you're doing it. And I think being connected with your why is so incredibly important. I know this sounds super cheesy. It's like, self-help 101, but it really is important. It's hackneyed for a reason. That I think if you are connected with why you're doing something, the positive benefits, what purpose are you doing it for? Where's it leading to? What it's part of? Then that allows you to get through the grind. It allows you to get over that point where it becomes a little bit sticky and a little bit difficult. That's the thing that gives you consistency, because even though it feels like hard work, it's not always fully enjoyable, but there's something meaningful behind it. And as human beings, we tend to do things that are meaningful so much more than other things. So I think really understanding and connecting and feeling your why is so crucially important when it comes to going after any goal or any dream. So
Yeah.
I think what a good thing to do would be to kind of move on to looking at some tips, Sarah. It's always a nice way to finish off the video, to talk practical. So do you have any tips that you would like to share the viewers that would help them go after their dreams and hopefully enjoy the process as much as they possibly can?
Yeah, I think it's to like write a list of the things that you enjoy, things that you used to enjoy when you were a child, things that set you alight, things you're passionate about. Just absolutely brainstorm it, and then ask how much your life, as you're living it at the moment, actually involves and encompasses those things, and how big is that? How big is that gap? I often ask people. It's quite a harsh question, but sometimes if I've built up enough rapport with a person, so I'll put it out there in this video, is like. You know, so it's a bit of a strange question, but sometimes I say, if you knew for definite that you only had 6 months left on this planet, that's it. You knew that time was coming. Like, would you still be living the life that you are living, or what changes would you want to see happen? And what freedom would that deadline quite literally give you to lead the life that you want to live? And it really opens up a question then of what people really dream about and what they're passionate about. And it shows how far apart the life of what they want to be living and what their life actually is. And it's always like, how do you know? How do you know you don't have only 6 months left? Like, because none of us know. We're not here forever. Like, life really is too short, and unexpected things come up all the time. And even if it's not in terms of actual death, sometimes illnesses happen or tragedies happen, or, you know, I do want to like end on a dark note, but I do want to be realistic about it. And I think so many people don't go after their dreams because of a confidence issue, because when you go after your dreams, that's something that actually really matters. So what if you fail, or what if it doesn't happen, or what if it doesn't come about? And that strikes a chord that some people can't sit very comfortably with. So to really actually explore that and to close that gap between what you're really desiring and thinking and dreaming about and what you're actually doing, and then taking those practical steps to make it happen. Even if it is, I used to love dancing and I don't dance anymore. Well, look for a local dance class and just start once a week. Or, you know, I think it's about bringing joy. When I hear dreams, I hear about joy, and there's lots of people living very joyless lives. So I would do an itinerary. I can never say that word. I'm not going to. I'm changing that word. I would do a brainstorm of the things that bring you joy, and then actually map it across to your life to see how much you're doing that. Does that make sense?
It does. No, I think it's a really useful exercise, and also think about death for a little bit is basically what Sarah is saying there. But no, we joke about that, but death, I think, can be inspiring. You know, I've been wanting to do a video about why death can be inspiring for a while now. Maybe you're going to see one pretty soon, because I think we often do believe that life is endless. Life, there's not an end point to it. But then eventually, as we get older, you know, I'm going to be 45 this Friday, and you do start to look at your mortality, and I think this is a really useful thing. You know, I think understanding that, you know, you only do have a finite time on this planet. If you believe in, you know, life, I don't know, if you believe in like second lives, or I was going to say past lives, but that's not correct. I'm looking for reincarnation. That's the word I'm looking for there. Then that's a different thing. But, you know, I think we really do have to appreciate that this is not a trial run. So now is the time to go after the things that you're passionate about and the things that deep down you love. So I think that's really, really great advice. I think if I was to add in a couple of pieces, I think the first piece is going after your goals and your dreams is never a straight line. It's always very, very messy. So there'll be lots of setbacks. That's totally fine. Just make them part of the journey. You know, in a way, the obstacles end up being the way forwards. You know, they're often the things that allow you to grow as a human being and actually reach the stage where you can accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. And the second thing is, I think, appreciate the unexpected byproducts of going after your goals and going after your dreams. What I mean by that is, actually, I'll share a quote. So it's a quote from a very famous self-help guru. He's sadly no longer with us, called Jim Rohn. And he used to say that the most important thing about accomplishing your goals is actually not about accomplishing them. It's about who you become as a result of the pursuit of your goals. And I love that. It's always stuck with me from quite a young age. that when we go after something that's challenging, something that we really love, something we're passionate about, some sort of dream that we have, then sure, if you accomplish it, then fantastic. But really, at the end of the day, that's just a milestone. It's just a vehicle that we use to become better as a person. And as you pursue it, as you overcome the challenges, you'll develop skills, you'll develop abilities, you'll develop new personality traits, you'll develop determination and all of those good things that you can then use for the rest of your life. So those are what I refer to as the unexpected byproducts of going after your dreams. And sometimes they can actually be even more powerful, even more important than the end goal itself. So I think always appreciate that, because if everything goes to shit and the goal doesn't work out, you're still going to end up with a bunch of amazing stuff just by going on the journey. So I think that is all. I don't know if you want to add anything else before we bring this video to a close. Sarah, anything else you want to share?
No, but it would be lovely to hear, in the comments, anyone who's living their dream, what dreams they let go of, what ones they'd like to revisit. I think just sort of hearing what other people are doing would be really great.
Yeah, it's really inspiring to hear people's thoughts on this as well. So yeah, if you have any comments, if you have any questions, or if you want to share your own dreams, your own goals, as Sarah mentioned there, please do share them in the comments below. So that is all from us for today. We'll just bring this video to a close. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, if you're new to the channel, if you could consider subscribing, that would be absolutely amazing. So that's all from the both of us. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you later on.
Thank you. Bye.